What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today is Sunday, October the 29th, and we got 6 games on today's schedule. Before we get into today's action, guys, there's a few things that I want to talk to you about. I think some very important things that I think every sports bettor needs when approaching this whole ordeal that we're into, trying to make money betting on sports, specifically for us in the NBA. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about money management. I'm talking about having a strategy. I'm talking about having a winning mindset, and overall being very stoic in your approach. What do I mean by that? Taking emotions out of your sports betting. It's very important. This is something that the books, the casinos are all betting on when everybody comes through their doors. What are they looking for? They're looking for people that are not disciplined. When they get some winning plays, to get all excited, start drinking, partying, start throwing money around, losing their discipline. When they lose, they want them doubling down. They want them feeling bad. Then they start looking at other things, different stats, different numbers. They lose their whole train of thought, and overall everything just spirals out of control. We don't do that here. We're very stoic. We have a plan. We have a strategy. We follow it until the very end. It's been successful for us, and that's what we're going to keep doing. Now, the last couple of days, guys, have been pretty rough. The results have not gone the way I've wanted them to. Does it bother me? Absolutely not. Why? Because I have a strategy. I have a plan. I've talked about this in my previous videos. I'm going quarter size until I get the sample size that I have the sample size that I need in order to make better decisions. The season just started. Most teams have only played a couple of games. In the off season, the roster switched back and forth. We don't know. We don't have any trends. We don't know the teams what their form is at the moment. We just don't have a big enough sample size. So we're mitigating these losses with very small size bets. It's a part of the strategy, a part of the plan. That's why it doesn't bother me. This is a marathon, not a sprint. I've talked about this plenty of times. That is just a small little prep talk I wanted to give you guys, how I see this whole thing and how I think your guys' mindset and the psychological aspect of all this betting. I think this is how it needs to be. Now, with all that being said, let's take a look at today's action. 6 games. I can't say it's the prettiest of cards, but we'll see what we can do. Couple of games look interesting to me, but overall they are pretty tough. We'll go into them each. We'll go into every game separately, see if we can come up with some winning picks. Let's go. All right, let's start things off with the Denver Nuggets. First game on today's schedule, on the road, taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Nuggets 3-point road favorites. I had them favored by 1.5. So we can see here the line is a little higher than what I thought it would have been. Both teams undefeated so far this year. The Nuggets won their season opener against the Lakers, then won their last game on the road against Memphis. 2-0. The Thunder, 2 wins on the road in their first game. 20-point blowout in Chicago. The last game, they beat Cleveland after being down by double digits with about 2 minutes left in the game. They made a big run. They hit 3 straight threes in that span. They managed to come back and get a big win in Cleveland. Shows the maturity level on the Oklahoma City Thunder is a lot higher than what it was in the previous years, getting wins like that, especially in places like Cleveland, where it's not an easy place to get a win. In this ball game, Denver -3. On the injury front, I don't see anything significant, guys. Nuggets, clean bill of health. The Thunder are still missing the 2 players, the 2 Williams. They haven't played so far. Jalen and Kenrich Williams, they're not going to be playing. That's off the injury report. In this game, guys, Chet Holmgren, the rookie, he's going to be getting his first taste of Nikola Jokic. Should be a nice learning experience for the young player. Both teams rely a lot on their starters. I think in this game, guys, the Nuggets do have the edge. I think the reason for this line being where it is, I think is because Denver does have the superior starting lineup. I'm going to take him here with the -3. I'm going to go with the defending champs on the road in this first game today. Up next, we got the Golden State Warriors in Houston taking on the Rockets. The Warriors, currently 4.5-point road favorites. I had them favored by 5. The Warriors split their first 2 games so far in the season, lost their season opener to Phoenix, won big in their next game at Sacramento against the Kings. Very tough place to play and get a win. The Warriors went in there, got a blowout W, looked like the Warriors of old. The Rockets, 0-2 to start their season. Big blowout loss in their opener at Orlando, lost by 30. And their last game against San Antonio looked like they had that win in the bag. But Jabari Smith Jr. missed a couple of free throws that would have wrapped things up in regulation. He missed them. Victor Wembanyama came down, scored, tied the game up, sent it to overtime. And that was it. It was curtains for the Houston Rockets. The Rockets, guys, I think that they are paying a little bit, especially the young guys. The past 2 seasons, the losing habits that they picked up from the last 2 years. It was a rebuilding process, but not really. It was, I think, more of a waste of a couple of years. The players losing so much, it kind of gets in their system, and it's hard to get the winning mentality. That's why I love teams like the Orlando Magic, what they did last year. No tanking, came out, played every single game till the very end, and you see it's paying dividends. This year, the Magic have started off red hot. The Rockets, it will take some time. But I think they will get there sooner or later. In this ballgame, guys, on the injury front, some very significant stuff to look at. Draymond Green is expected to make his debut. He hasn't played in the first 2 games for the Warriors. He's expected to play today. He had an ankle injury. But we see Jonathan Kuminga and Steph Curry both listed as questionable in this game. Obviously, Steph Curry, the big name here, we do got to see if he's going to be in or out. But for him to even be on the injury report, it says a foot injury. He probably won't be at 100%. Now, the Warriors, guys, if we looked at the schedule, this is also going to be their first game of a back-to-back. This could be a bit of a look-ahead spot. They're playing in New Orleans tomorrow against the Pelicans. A big game for the Warriors. They might be overlooking this game a bit. I think the Rockets could capitalize on this. The plus 4.5 is a half point shorter than what I thought it would be. I'm going to take a shot here again with the Rockets and the plus 4.5. I think this is a bit of a look-ahead spot for the Warriors. Let's see what happens. Houston plus 4.5 is my pick in this game. In our next ball game, we got the Atlanta Hawks in Milwaukee taking on the Bucks. The Bucks currently 6.5 point home favorites. I had them favored by 7. The Hawks 0-2 to start their season. Couple of losses in their season opener. They lost to the Hornets on the road, and in their last game, a wire-to-wire loss to the New York Knicks. The Bucks have played only 1 game so far. That was on Thursday, a TNT game against the Philadelphia 76ers. They squeezed out a 1-point win in that game. Very entertaining matchup. Damian Lillard's debut was a banger for Dame. He had 39 points in the game, 17 for 17 at the free throw line. He was attacking the basket. Damian Lillard looks possessed. he can feel a championship. He was in that shithole Portland for so many years. Finally has an opportunity to win. He's taking advantage of it, guys. Milwaukee didn't look that sharp yet. It looks like they still need to get a few things situated over there on the team. But the future is bright. They're going to be right there when it's all said and done. In this ball game on the injury front, let's take a look at the injuries. The Bucks will be without Chris Middleton. From what I see, injury management, knee injury management, they're going to sit him out. The Bucks, if you look at the schedule, this is going to be their first night of a back-to-back. Tomorrow they have a very rough, tough home game against the Miami Heat. Looks like they're going to try to save Middleton so he could be fresh for that ball game. The Hawks, any injury news over there? Let's see. No, just Wesley Matthews hasn't played yet. Nothing very significant. They're going to go with the same lineup that they had in the last couple of games. What do I see happening here, guys? I don't know the line. As you can see, my estimate is at 7. The line is very sharp. And like I mentioned, the Bucks still, I think, haven't put everything together. It's going to take a few weeks, I think, for them to completely get things together and start playing the basketball that we will expect to see from them for the remainder of the season. But the Hawks, guys, very inconsistent. I think they did get worse by trading away, especially John Collins, an athletic big that helped them out last year. They didn't fill his spot in the lineup. It's a tough game, guys, a very tough game. What I see happening here, though, is it being a track meet. Even though I did look at the last 10 meetings, that these two teams played against each other, the number of the 238.5, the very high over/under number, only went over once. But I think with Damian Lillard now in with the Bucks, his over/under is at 30.5. The player props. Just by looking at the player props, I think I have a general idea that what the books think is going to happen here. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I also think it's going to be high-scoring. I'm going to take my chances here and go against the trends and go with the over 238.5 points. I think it's going to be an extremely, extremely high-scoring game. Up next, Portland at Philadelphia taking on the Sixers. The Sixers currently 9.5-point home favorites. I had them favored by 10. The Blazers 0-2 to start their season. A couple of losses, wire-to-wire losses in their first matchup against the Clippers. Lost by 13 in a game that wasn't that close. They got down by 30. Garbage time kind of made the final score look respectable. In their last game at home against the Orlando Magic, also a wire-to-wire loss. They did only lose that game by 5, made a little bit of a run at the end, but they have not been close in either of their first two matchups. Scoot Henderson, the rookie, has started off very, very slow. Looks like it's going to take him a few games to get acclimated to the NBA game. An important injury for the Trailblazers. They're going to be without Anthony Simons for the next 4 weeks, I think. I think he has a thumb injury, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, thumb injury. He's going to have surgery on his thumb. 4 to 6 weeks. Anthony Simons is going to be out. Big loss for the Trailblazers. The Sixers, this is going to be the second night of their back-to-back. They were in Toronto yesterday. Nick Nurse, the coach of the Sixers, the ex-coach of the Raptors, he went in Toronto, got a nice win. The Sixers were very solid in that game. Very solid in their opener also against the Bucks. Only lost that game by a point. 1-1 so far in their season. Now, no injuries to talk about here. At least no surprises as of now while I'm doing this video. It is the second night of a back-to-back. Would I be surprised if they rested maybe a Joel Embiid? Sure, it could happen, guys. This is the NBA. We always wait last minute till we put on our bets. But the Sixers here, 9.5-point favorites. In my opinion, this could be a bit of a letdown spot, guys. This is going to be the second night of a back-to-back. They did get a really, really nice win yesterday in Toronto. They could play down to the competition today. Portland is one of the weaker teams in rebuilding mode. This 9.5 points, let's take a shot here with the plus 9.5. Even though I will probably be staying away from this game, I think it has a pretty good shot at coming through Portland and with the plus 9.5. Up next, we've got the San Antonio Spurs in LA taking on the Clippers. The Clippers, 9.5-point home favorites. I had them favored by 9. The Spurs, 1-1 to start their season. In their first game, 2 games at home. They played 2 games at home. The first one against the Mavs were very competitive. Were unfortunate in that ball game. They played very well, but Luka Doncic went crazy at the end. Sent the Spurs to their first loss in the season opener. In the second game, they got a W. We're very fortunate to get a win in that game. Like I talked about earlier, Jabari Smith Jr. from Houston missed a couple of free throws, left the window open. Victor Wembanyama tied the game up. It went to overtime. They had the momentum. They carried on and got a 4-point win. They're 1-1 on the season. On the injury front, nothing new. Same team that played in the first 2 games is expected to play in tonight's game as well. The Clippers, 1-1. They've split their first 2 in the first game. Big blowout win against the Blazers at home. In the second game, a devastating loss for the Clippers. They fell down in the score by double digits, I think, at the end of the first half. Made their move in the second. They got close, but at the end, details here and there. They were playing with fire. Utah ended up getting the W in that game just by looking at the reaction of the Clippers players. Once Russell Westbrook missed a turnaround jumper that would have tied the game up, looked like they were extremely disappointed. You don't really see this in regular season games, but the Clippers guys look like they're really focused this season. I think they're going to do a lot more damage than people expect. 9.5 points here. I think the difference, guys, between these two teams is probably much higher than that. I do have an estimated 9. We know the Victor Wembanyama hype is still going on. I think people are going to jump all over these points. Why not? Plus 9.5 points. Getting points is always good, but in my opinion, guys, I think the Clippers, they could make quick work of the San Antonio Spurs. Dispose of them like they did the Portland Trailblazers. I'm going to take them here with the minus 9.5. I think they can win this game running away. Clippers 9.5 is my pick in this game. And in our last game of the night, we got the LA Lakers in Sacramento taking on the Kings. The Kings currently 3-point home favorites. I had them favored by 2.5. Lakers split their first 2 games of the regular season, lost the season opener at Denver to the defending champs. No shame in that. Tough place to win for any team in the league. In the second game, they took advantage of the Phoenix Suns playing without Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. Got a 5-point win in that game. A lot tougher than probably they would have liked. But they did get the win. That's what counts. 1-1 on the season. On the injury front, I don't see anything for the Lakers. Just Jared Vanderbilt hasn't played so far. He's going to be out in this game as well. The Sacramento Kings 1-1 have split their first 2 also. First game, big blowout win in Utah. Everything, they were hitting their shots. They were getting up and down the court. Played that very entertaining brand of basketball that we get used to seeing from the Sacramento Kings. In the second game, met their match, Golden State Warriors, another team that likes to get shots up quick, lots of threes. We know what the Warriors are about. They met their match. They were hitting, Golden State was hitting the shots. Sacramento, not so much. They suffered the loss against the Warriors at home. 1-1 on the season. In this game, guys, Sacramento, it's all going to have to do with if they can impose their style of play on the Lakers, or will the Lakers impose their style of play on the Kings? Will they turn it into a half-court game, or will Sacramento turn it into a track meet? That's the big question here. The Lakers, looking at the scheduling, this is going to be the front end of a back-to-back for them. They're going to be playing tomorrow at home against the Orlando Magic. I think in this game, if for some reason it kind of starts getting away from them early, they might call it, look for a game tomorrow against the Magic. A game a little easier on paper, even though the Magic guys have been balling out. It's going to be another tough one tomorrow. I think the Kings do have the advantage in this game. I'm going to take them here with the -3. Don't know if I'm going to be putting any action on this game, but I think they are the favorite in this game. If, like I'm saying, if they can turn it into a track meet, they do have the advantage. Sacramento -3. Let's take the Kings here in the final game of today's schedule. And this is what I got for you guys today on this Sunday, October the 29th, and this 6-game schedule. Not the prettiest of cards, I gotta admit, but we put in the work, got our picks, did our analysis, and let's see what happens. Usually, guys, I do a second video with my best bet of the day. I'm going to do it in this video right here. It isn't going to be in the early game between Denver and Oklahoma. I'm going to take the Nuggets here with the -3. I think they do have the advantage in this ball game. They do have the better starting 5, like I mentioned in the analysis. Oklahoma City also relies a lot on their starting 5. I think Chet Holmgren is in for a lesson today with Nikola Jokic. Taking the Nuggets there with the -3 as my best bet of the day. Now, if I see something else with the rest of the games, I will do a second video a little later on. But as of now, as things stand now, I'm going to take the Nuggets. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, guys, I'm still going quarter size. If I don't get my sample size, at least five games for each team to know what's kind of going on, I'm going to be staying low. Quarter size bets, protecting my bankroll. Like I said at the beginning of the video, guys, discipline, money management, and stoic. Be stoic in your approach. Don't get too crazy. Don't feel like you need to bet on every single game. It's a long season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I talk about this all the time. And that is it for me today, guys. Good luck on your picks. And I will see you in the next video tomorrow. Have a good one. Enjoy your Sunday. And I will see you later. Peace.